Russia and China have criticized what they say is negative U.S. influence in the Asia-Pacific and Europe. Both countries have highlighted their opposition to the further expansion of NATO and have called for the alliance to end its Cold War approach to diplomacy. Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian leader Vladimir Putin have been talking in Beijing. All their aim is to deepen ties against the backdrop of increasing criticism from the West. Moscow is looking for support after its deployment of troops near its border with Ukraine prompted Western nations to warn of an invasion. Both leaders have also expressed concern over the AUKUS defense alliance, which they believe will increase the probability of an arms race. Their talks have focused on coordinating both countries' foreign policies as well as closer gas and financial ties. Russia has prepared a new deal to supply China with 10 billion cubic meters of natural gas.
Что касается наших двусторонних отношений, то они развиваются действительно поступательно, в духе дружбы, стратегического партнерства. Они приобрели действительно беспрецедентный характер и являются примером достойных отношений, которые помогают развиваться друг другу и в то же время поддерживают друг друга в развитии.
Ahead of the summit, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. Mr. Lavrov wished China success in holding the Beijing Winter Olympics. He affirmed Russia's position against a US-led diplomatic boycott of the Games. And for more on this, Julia Chapman joins us from Moscow. Julia, Russia, several deals, finance and gas with China on top of extensive military collaboration over the years. Is it fair to say Sino-Russian ties are, in Mr. Putin's words, unprecedented?
They certainly are at their highest level for quite some time. They have been deepening cooperation in the political sphere, in the economic sphere, military, space exploration. There are a number of areas that both leaders have been pointing to where the two countries are working very closely together. And indeed, their views of the world do certainly align. They have complementary economies. Russia has lots of natural resources. China needs many of them. So it's quite a natural complementary relationship between the two countries. And certainly, as they have difficult relations with many countries in the West, they have been pushed closer together. We've really seen a deepening of this relationship over the past 7 or 8 years since Russia annexed the Ukrainian peninsula of Crimea and became subject to a wide range of sanctions from Western countries. That we obviously know that hasn't been acknowledged by China. China doesn't recognize Crimea as Russian territory, but it has really worked on deepening economic cooperation with Russia in the years since, offering Russia a place to turn in difficult times. And that is certainly expected to continue. You mentioned some of these deals that were signed. There were 16 agreements signed in total today. 4 of them were new commercial contracts in the spheres of gas, oil, digitization, and other areas as well. So certainly, yes, the two countries are working closer together, and that is partly down to a very close personal friendship between the two leaders.
Also in discussions, shifting of currency trade away from the US dollar. How close are China and Russia to some kind of decoupling, an independent trade network?
They're still a way away. They did talk back in December about deepening efforts to reach that kind of trade network. But as things stand, according to the Kremlin, only about 20% of trade between Russia and China is denominated in their own national currencies. We notably have noticed that in the last announcement today about the gas contract between Russia and China, that was denominated in euros. So certainly they are trying to move away from the dollar. But of course, the ruble is still very volatile. So there are areas of risk for both of these things involved.
Thanks for that. Julia Chapman speaking to us there from Moscow.